Our entire life, we are always told to be something, to be smart, to be studious, to show up this, to do that, to do this. We've all been told different ways to be and to show up, even though those things may not be who we actually are. It even goes so far into our content. You know, we hear things like survey your audience and give your audience everything they want, but it doesn't work like that. If you truly want to be authentic, you want to be liked for who you are, you want to run a company or a business off of your own values, your standards, you want things to operate with full authenticity, you need to remember who you are. You have to remember you are the light that attracts everything in your life. And that is exactly what we're talking about in today's episode. So if that's interesting to you, well, keep on listening. Hi, I'm Brandon Lucero, and you're about to experience the new way to thrive in business, entrepreneurship, and life by leaning into who you are, what you love, and standing up for what you want to create. Get ready, because this is where we go against the grain, say no to outdated society norms, and we say yes to change in order to create a happier, more fulfilled world. Welcome to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. Today we're talking about a very simple concept, but a powerful one. And it's a powerful one because not a lot of people fully understand the power in it, and they don't actually understand, not understand, but they aren't aware or don't realize that they aren't living their life by this. And it's very simple. We've all heard the phrase, or know the example of the light and the mosquitoes or the moths, right? So there's a light and the mosquito and the moth. Is it a mosquito or is it a moth? It's a moth, right? That goes to the light. Moth, yeah. And so those things, they kill the moths, right? So they are attracted to the light. What most people don't realize is that when it comes to life, but also specifically messaging and content too, especially in a personal brand, you are the light that attracts the audience. You are the light that attracts the friends. You are the light that attracts the partner. You are the light that attracts everything inside of your life. And that may seem like a very simple concept, and you may be looking at it going like, yeah, Brandon, I get it. I understand that. I already know that. Well, if you know it, then why are you constantly bending and adjusting who you are, your standards, how you show up, how you interact, your personality, to everything else around you? A great example of this is how many of you know someone who has a different personality when different people show up. I mean, I used to be like that. Like when I would hang out with my wife versus how I interacted in a group, I was two different people. And I would bend to those other people to fit a personality or persona or to be a type of person inside of that group. But the problem is if that person wasn't me and those people are hanging out with me because of this person I had pretended to be or was becoming, they're not actually there for me. I wasn't being the light that it was me. I was being a different light that attracted them to be our friends. And this is the same thing with content. And this is why when I hear the advice, just survey your audience and give them what they want, I want to bang my head against the wall. Because it's not about giving your audience what they want. It's about giving your audience what you want to give. You are the light that attracts the people. This is why everyone that I talk about, Simon Sinek, Gary Vaynerchuk, Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins, I mean, any thought leader, look at any thought leader out there. They're not sending you a survey asking you what you want from them. They are giving you what they want to give you. And they are crafting a message that they want to give. And what they're doing is they're crafting a very powerful message because they know the people that will resonate with that message are the people that are going to be most like them. Their message is them. Their message is their personality, their impact, their values, their beliefs. And when you put that stuff out there, it will only attract people that have the same beliefs, the same values, want to be a part of that same impact. And then you create a very aligned, connected audience. But it all stems from remembering who you are, embracing who you are, putting that into content, and then letting that attract the right tribe. Now, I will say, because the advice I give everyone is that it is beneficial to survey your audience, but you only give them the things that you want to give them. If someone tells you, hey, I want X, Y, and Z, and you want to do ABC, then do ABC and ignore X, Y, and Z. Because the second you do X, Y, and Z and you don't want to, but you're doing it because of them, you completely forgot who you are. You're not being the light that's going to attract the people that are most like you. And so I want you to start remembering that you are the light that attracts everyone in your life. You have to strip back down to remembering who you are. Get rid of this idea of who you were. Get rid of this idea of what the external world told you to be. Remember who you are before the external world told you who to be, how to show up, and what to say. When we start to embrace more of who we are inside of our content, inside of our business, we start to attract people that are most like us. And I can guarantee you that if you have an audience that is like, you just sit there and go, I'm just attracting the wrong people, it's because you're not embracing who you are. You're probably scared to do that. You're probably afraid to do that. You think it's not going to attract everyone. Newsflash, you're not supposed to attract everyone. So what we want to do is start looking at and understanding who we are. And what's going to happen is this might cause a rift in your audience. So I have a lot of people that come into our program and they're like, oh my God, my audience is leaving. Brandon, I'm doing everything you told me to do, but my followers are leaving in droves. And I'm losing followers. I'm losing views. I'm losing engagement. I thought this was supposed to increase engagement. And I go, don't worry, it's normal. The reason why they're leaving is because you pretended to be something you weren't, and that attracted people who weren't like you. And now you're embracing who you are and talking about what you want to talk about so that you're more aligned, you're in your dharma, and you're in your purpose. And what that's going to do is, it's going to bring you through a shedding. You're going to shed a lot of people that weren't there because of you. They were there for a fake version of you. But now what's going to happen is when they leave, some of your current audience will stay because they do like that new version, but a whole bunch of new people will come in, and those people are going to be more connected to you than ever before. You'll see a much more loyal audience. Now, this isn't just about content. This isn't just about messaging. This is also in your life. When you look at your friends are there because of shared values, shared beliefs, beliefs, and identities. If you start to shift a belief, you start to shift an identity, you start to shift a value, a lot of those friendships will end. And if you have been a fake version, a false version of you with different beliefs or different values or different identity just to fit in with a group of people, and then all of a sudden you start to remember who you are, those people probably aren't going to be friends with you anymore. And the thing is so many of us bend and we mold and we model things around us in order to fit in or be accepted. And the problem is when you do that, you're now forming relationships and friendships off of something that you're not. And that's a very dangerous place to be operating from because there's nothing authentic there. There's only surface level connection. And when we start to remember who we are, we actually gain a lot of our power back because we say, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. No, this thing that I just been going along with because that's what everyone is doing and I don't actually like doing it, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I remember a video of Lady Gaga, and it was a kind of a spliced video that people had put together. And it was a very powerful video. And she started talking about how she gained her power back and said, no, I'm not going to take that photo with you. No, I'm not going to sign that autograph. No, I'm not going to go do a photo shoot that way because that is not me. And she said slowly and surely, she could start to look at herself in the mirror and go, that is me. I am proud of you. Because she was molding to what everyone told her she needed to mold to. She wasn't being herself. And this also goes to how we raise our kids. Your kids need to remember who they are. Your kids have to embrace who they are, what their personality is, what their likes are, all that stuff. And depending on their age, they may or may not have a lot of beliefs formed yet. My kids are super young, so it's interesting to watch them form different beliefs or how the world works and all of that stuff. So it's really interesting. But one of the things that I want to bring to my kids is the power of embracing who they are what they are naturally attracted to. Like my son, for example, loves playing chess. He loves doing homework. Like we tell him to go to bed, like it's bedtime, and we catch him literally doing math worksheets in his bed. And I'm just like, bro, you don't have to do those worksheets if you don't want. He's like, I know. I just love doing them. I'm like, okay. He loves playing chess. So instead of conforming him to who I am or conforming him to what I want him to be, I let him be who he is. So I had to relearn how to play chess. I had to start looking at like I didn't even know how to set up a chessboard. I didn't even know what moves some of the chess pieces did. So I had to go look all of that up so that I can play chess with him. And it's not about just playing chess with him. It's about embracing who he is so that he can grow up knowing that it's okay to be who he is. Same thing with my daughter. My daughter's completely opposite of my son, my daughter, Lily. She's, the type of, she's more of like a tomboy. She loves like running around, getting dirty. We just went to Disney the other day and went to the princess store. And the one thing she wanted at the princess store was the bow and arrow. Like she wanted to go shoot a bunch of cans down. Like my wife was like, I thought I was gonna have a daughter who wanted the princess dress and the whatever and the tiara and all that stuff. And she's kind of interested in that, but not really. She wants to like go shoot things. And she's one of the fastest kids in her class, even out of all the boys. Like she is just a natural athlete. She's naturally competitive. And, I want to embrace that. She also is really into horses. So I want to embrace that. If I was putting my own beliefs and values and interests on them, I would say, hey, Lily, let's maybe not do horses because horses are pretty freaking expensive and time consuming, but we don't. We suck it up. We let them be who they are, but we embrace that. So that's one of the things is that when I go through this period myself and I remember I am the light that will attract everything in my life. I am the light that will attract in the wife that I want. And keep the wife that I want. The friends that I have, the kids that I have, like I attract everything, the business that I have, the team that I have, the employees that I have. I don't bend anymore. And these are all lessons that I've had to learn. And as I've learned them, I'm able to give these gifts down to my kid or all of my kids. Let them be who they are, embrace who they are. I don't want to indoctrinate my kids into who I am. I don't even want to indoctrinate my kids into being entrepreneurs. If they don't want to be an entrepreneur, then don't be an entrepreneur. But what is it that you want to do? Where are your passions? Let's look at how we can explore those passions together because that is what you want to do. Now, all of this is great because this is a concept that can be applied in so many different ways. We talked about how it is applied to messaging. We've talked about how it applies with friends. We talked about how it applies with kids, but I want to talk for a minute about how this applies with team. I think as new entrepreneurs, it's actually really difficult sometimes to understand this concept because a lot of the times we've never managed anyone before. We've never built a team before. We've never told people what to do on this level before. And some level of us wants to be liked. And you have to understand there is a difference between being liked and being respected. And I think what leaders need is they need to be respected. You need to be able to earn the respect of your team and of your vision. And you need to stand the ground of what the vision is and where the values of the company are. And you need to be that light for your company. Because what will happen is if you constantly bend to this person over here and this person over here, or this person didn't like that and this person didn't like this, or they want this and they want that, or they don't like this idea, or they like this idea and someone doesn't like this idea, what you start doing is you start to bend to all of that. You create a culture that's extremely toxic because you let in people that shouldn't be there. And I've had to learn this the hard way. I've had one of the things that was really important to me was that we would do team lunches once a week and we'd go out to a nice lunch and connect and bond. And I thought that was a really great way. I'm also a foodie, so I love going out to nice places. I thought that was a great way to build a lot of camaraderie between the team. And one of the employees pulled me outside and was like, I don't want to do the lunches anymore. I'd rather just get a raise. And I was like, okay. And I went to the team and I said, do you guys rather get a raise or would you rather do the lunches? And they all said, well, I would rather just get a raise. And I said, okay. And that's what we did. We gave them like $1 an hour raise. And I look back at that and I go, no, Brandon. Like if I was talking to my old version of myself, what I would do now is I would say, no, 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 no. This isn't their company. This isn't their vision. This isn't their culture. Yes, listen to them, take their feedback into consideration. But if that's how you want to build camaraderie within your team and that's important to you, then you go and do that. And actually what starts to happen is people will adapt and mold to the standards that you set, or they will leave. But one way or another, your team and your culture will be grown because of you. You will be the light that is attracting the culture that you and the employees that you have within your team. It's the same thing. If you want to have integrity inside your business and you're not going to have integrity yourself, guess what you're going to attract inside of your company? A lack of integrity. If you want responsibility within your team and you're not going to be responsible, guess what you're going to attract? A lack of responsibility within your team. You are the light that attracts everything inside of your life. That goes with team, that goes with business, that goes with kids, that goes with everything. This is why for me, being impeccable with the values, with the way that I want to live, is becoming something that's more and more and more important. Again, I'm not perfect. I'm not impeccable with everything that I do. In fact, this year of 2021 has been testing my impeccability. And there have been a lot of times where I failed pretty dang hard. Maybe we'll talk about that in another podcast episode, because it would be a long one. But again, you have to remember that if you want something, you want a certain culture, you want a certain standard, you want a certain type of employee, you want a certain type of team, it starts with you. You're the freaking light that's going to attract everything. And if you can't hold yourself at the level of what you want in the company, then it's not going to happen. If you want a certain level of excellence or responsibility or integrity or whatever it is inside of your company, it will only grow to the level of what you're holding yourself at. If you want a certain type of audience member or someone consuming your content, they will only show up to the level of how you show up within your content. If you're too afraid to talk about your vulnerability, talk about your values, talk about your beliefs, guess what? Your audience is not going to have a really strong connection with you. They're only going to connect with you to the level of what you reveal. If you're not able to reveal a lot inside of your business and really build a relationship or connection with them, then you're not going to have a really connected audience. If you're going to bend and mold to everyone else around you so that you fit in, you're probably not going to have really strong relationships with those group of people. The strongest relationships that I have are the ones where I am 100% myself. Why? Because I'm connecting with the other person off of values that are incredibly as deep as they can go. The relationship with my wife. We've been together for 20 something years. And who we were when we were 15 and 16 is not who we are today. And I've always heard the phrase and kind of live by this is you either grow together or you grow apart. And it's actually pretty scary because I'm not going to grow in a way that I don't want to grow just to connect with her on a deeper level. And what I mean by this is if she all of a sudden is interested in traveling every 2 weeks, it's like, that's what I want to do. I want to live a life of travel. And I don't want to travel every 2 weeks. I'm not going to mold and bend into someone who travels every 2 weeks just to try to maintain that relationship. If that was a make or break for her, like I want to be in a relationship where we travel every 2 weeks, I'd be like, I'm sorry, I can't be that person. I can't do that. That's not me. And so I want her to be who she is. I want me to be who I am. And that's a very scary thing because again, you either grow together or you grow apart. But the thing that made our relationship work for all these years is that when we get to the core of who we are, we get to the core of our light. Remember, you are the light that attracts everything in your life. The core of who we are, who we were when we were 15 or 16 is still the same today. Same values. We've developed the same beliefs over a lot of things over the years. And our number one value is now becoming communication. It's becoming a happy relationship, a well-communicated relationship, an intimate relationship, a loving relationship. Those are all values that we hold at the core, and those haven't changed over the years. They've been added to. Like when we were 15 and 16, we didn't, a core value wasn't really having an intimate relationship. But now that is a very deep part of our relationship. So these core things keep us together. But the idea is she is who she is. I am who I am. and we come together and we don't bend to those things. I never would want her to bend or change who she is because I'm into something. It doesn't matter to me. So the idea here is the whole premise of this entire episode is to remember you are the light that attracts everything in your life. So stop bending your message, your content, how you show up, your vulnerability. Stop bending all of that stuff in your content in order to stay safe or to be a version of yourself that everyone else told you to be. Be who you are. Same thing with your kids. Embrace who they are. Stop forcing them to be a version of you or what you want. Embrace who they are. With your friends, stop changing who you are in order to fit into a group of people, because that will eventually cause you pain. The strongest relationships I have, again, are the ones where I am exactly who I am to the core of my being, and that aligns with that other person. It's very freeing. It's very powerful. So with that said, if you enjoyed this episode, leave us a review. I would appreciate that so much. And I would be interested, if you want to go to Instagram, tag me at I am Brandon Lucero and tell us in a story what part of this episode was most powerful for you, which area shed some light, no pun intended, on certain areas of your life that need to be changed and adjusted so you remember who you are. Let me know. I'd very much appreciate that. And we'll see you all on another episode of the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. Take care. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out another episode of the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, go below, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you click on that bell icon and get notified every time we drop a new episode. Now, if you're looking for the show notes, we have them linked underneath this video, as well as our social media handles and some links to free training and offers that we drop from time to time to help you guys even further. So go check those out if you're interested, and thank you so much for tuning in to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast.